I would feel like, no, I'm not amazing. I don't know how I'm doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't deserve your praise. You totally have the wrong idea. If you knew the areas that I struggle with or that I'm failing at, you wouldn't be complimenting me right now. I'm an imposter.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Kornblit, founder of Thriving Working Mom. I'm a social worker and mother of 4 little ones. My goal is to be able to teach and inspire working moms to recognize that even with the stress or chaos or busyness going on, they can still find joy, peace, and fulfillment.
For years, I thought that I was a particularly dysfunctional mom. I was a social worker working in the medical setting. I was working full-time, out of the house. And over those years, I had times where either coworkers or patients or community members would say to me, "You are a working mom. Wow, you are amazing. I don't know how you do it." And when they would say that, I would feel like, no, I'm not amazing. I don't know how I'm doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't deserve your praise. You totally have the wrong idea. Trust me, if you knew the areas that I struggle with or that I'm failing at, you wouldn't be complimenting me right now. I'm an imposter. I must present well, and I'm just posing as a working mom who has her life together. I don't know if you've ever had those kinds of thoughts, but I would feel that way all the time. I would look around at my friends who worked and just feel like they had things so much more under control, things running smoothly. And unfortunately, this is something that so many working moms struggle with. And because they have that feeling of like, I'm the only one, then it ends up being very isolating and even scary to talk about challenges and be vulnerable and open about that, because it's like, oh my gosh, there's something particularly wrong with me that I'm not able to manage all the responsibilities the way that I should be, right? And so there's that feeling of shame and this feeling of failure that, if only people knew, right? I'm in my house after a long day of work. I gave so much great emotional energy to my patients that I worked with, and now my kids want to hang out with me, and even though it's my time with them, I just want to go to my room and lay on my bed and scroll through social media. I don't want to even be with my kids right now, right? Like, that could be really shame-inducing, especially having that thought of what's wrong with me, or I don't think anyone else is like this. And the truth is that it's not easy balancing working and mothering. It's not easy at all. And yet, we feel like there's something wrong with us when we don't live up to the parenting ideal we had in mind, don't perform at work to the level we want to be, feel resentful about parenting, feel resentful about working, or feel resentful about both, right? All of these things we feel like, what's wrong with me? What other things are there? When we don't have our household in order the way we'd like it to be, our laundry's piling up, dishes are piling up in the sink. What's wrong with me? Maybe we fall behind on errands or tasks and phone calls, or when we have a less than smooth morning or evening routine. When we don't have the emotional energy for our kids, even if we were so emotionally present for our colleagues and clients during the day. That's something that I had a lot as a social worker, helping professional, so emotionally present for my patients and coworkers. We may feel there's something wrong with us if we get frustrated easily, if we yell at our kids, we have a messy house, we serve unhealthy dinner, we're tired at work, we have a kid who's struggling emotionally or academically. That's a big one, or we really just feel like we are failing. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the term imposter syndrome. It's pretty widespread, I think, at this point. But essentially, it's most frequently used in a professional context. So somebody is successful and knowledgeable, and no matter how successful they get, no matter how knowledgeable or accomplished, they continue to feel that everyone thinks more highly of them and their abilities and their knowledge or accomplishments than like the reality is, and that they don't know the truth, or that they're faking it. They're faking it being this confident professional, and really they just feel like there's this gap between what's really going on, or who they really are, and what they're perceived as. One of the most popular social media videos that I've done over the last few years was a year and a half ago on Mother's Day. I spoke about something that I called imposter parenting, which is when we think that other people are perceiving us as better parents than we actually are. And this can really be induced when you are getting compliments. Oh, you're so amazing. Look at all the stuff you're managing. And no matter how much you protest, they're like, no, you're awesome. You're a SuperMom. The reason I spoke about it on Mother's Day is because Mother's Day is a day that motherhood is so romanticized, right? It's like the cards. You give every minute of your day to your children. What a wonderful mother you are. You are a mother in your heart. Whatever. I don't know. Okay, I won't quit my day job and start going to write cards for Hallmark. But I think you get what I'm saying. That we can see that card and be like, that's not me. I'm not thinking about my kids every second of the day. Or sometimes I just feel resentful with parenting, or I just want to be by myself, or I am not the mother that I want to be. And so these imposter feelings get induced, especially when we are getting compliments or think someone's perceiving us a certain way. It actually was so successful that a Zoom employee ended up seeing that video and had me come speak to a Zoom employee group, which was super awesome and fun. So this is relatable. When people saw that, you know why it was successful, why the video was successful? Because people heard that and said, that's me. And wait, if Sarah's saying that she feels that way and that this is a common feeling, could it be there really isn't something wrong with me? Right? Could it be that it's common to feel that way and people's lives are not as perfect as they may seem on the outside? One of the biggest contributors these days to this is the picture perfect social media life that our friends and colleagues and families present on our social media feeds, and we contribute to as well. And so it creates this fantasy world where everyone is just so much better off and doing so much better than we are. So I'll tell you, this is what it seems when I scroll through the feed. Everyone's kids are happier. Did you see how adorable they look? They all smiled so nicely and posed for their first day of school pics, right? Or their kids just seem happy. People might scroll through and say, everyone's husband seems more supportive than mine is. Look, she posted a picture that he just got her flowers out of the blue. How sweet is that? Why doesn't my husband do that? Everyone's life seems more under control. Look at her. She shared a picture of her meal prep she was doing for her kids' lunches. How she's so organized. I like packing lunches as they're walking out the door. Everyone's life seems more exciting. Everyone seems to have more time for trips and outings. How are they navigating that? She's working, taking care of her kids, and then they're going to the zoo and hikes and Chuck E. Cheese on the weekends. I'm exhausted. I'm not up for taking out my kids to an event like that on a regular weekend. Everyone's house seems neater. They took a candid picture in their living room, and look, it's you don't see any clutter or anything on the floor, right? So we know intellectually that this kind of picture perfect view of other people's lives that we see on social media is not that it's not true, but it's a very, very tiny piece or one perspective on their life. How do we know this? Because we know how easy it is for us to curate a collection of pictures and quotes and stories and different things that we can put on our personal social media page and present a picture perfect life too. It's so easy. It's so easy to take, if you find a way to get your kid to smile and you get a great picture, no one's going to know that the kid was tantruming for 3 hours of the day because you're not really posting a tantruming picture. And people are most often, for good reason, not posting on social media about their relationship problems or about their insecurities. And that's okay, right? I don't even think that's the best way to share those over social media. And so what you end up with is this in your face all day long, depending on how often you're on social media, feeling that everyone is doing so much better than me. And I am not functioning well, and there's something wrong with me. And this is so unfortunate. And I know for myself that I even struggle with it because I'm very averse personally to contributing to this. And for that reason, I don't have a personal social media because I just want to enjoy my children's cuteness and my love for them and not live through the lens of social media or make people jealous through my happy moments that I would be sharing. But on a professional level, what am I doing on social media? I am sharing tips for mindfulness and self-improvement and parenting, stress management. Even right now, I'm sharing these thoughts and hopefully validating and making the moms listening out there feel less alone. But when you hear me speak, you're also hearing me when I'm not in the midst of stress with my kids. I am in a calm, quiet, cool room by myself recording this episode. And so I think that it's even natural that people will paint pictures and oh, look, Sarah just has it all together. Everything's so calm and great. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very glad for where I am in my life and how I cope with my challenges. But it's not that I have it all together, right? It's not that last night my kids were literally refusing to go to sleep for a super long time, and it took a long time of me being stressed or ultimately snapping, get into bed now, and not feeling like I had a win at all with the way bedtime went last night. But you weren't there for that, right? And so you're just hearing me calmly talking about these concepts. And so that's the part that sometimes I want to make sure that I don't contribute and also kind of bust that. No, you don't have to. Let's stop thinking that everyone is more perfect or more functional or doing everything awesomer than we are. When we can really sit back and recognize that being a working mom is hard, and being whatever our vision or version of what a perfect mom is, it doesn't exist. And so because of that, we will constantly be falling short. And when someone compliments us and say, wow, you're amazing, we're always going to be thinking about those areas that we're falling short in. And that's when those thoughts of if only you knew are going to come up. And so I just want you to take some time right now and just think these are the responsibilities I have in my life, right? Go through the responsibilities. What's on your plate? Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I do have my hands full. Oh, it makes sense that there are going to be things that fall through the cracks. Oh, it makes sense that I'm going to come home from work and sometimes just not have the emotional energy to just hang out with my kids. Or I have a lot going on with my kids and maybe I'm going to be a little distracted at work, or maybe I'm going to be tired and therefore not at my peak functioning. And so when we can look at the reality that we have a lot on our plates and therefore be more accepting of the fact that it is hard, and because it's hard or because things fall through the cracks doesn't mean that we are failing, we can be so much more forgiving of ourselves and not have to walk around with that feeling of shame or failure. So I am glad that I got to share that, because that's something that comes up often with clients, with friends, with acquaintances, this concept. And I think that a lot more people out there feel this way than you think. And my goal for today was just for you to feel less alone and validated, and realize that it's okay. It's okay if things aren't perfect. And when someone says, wow, you're doing great, that's amazing, maybe you could think, yeah, it is amazing. How am I balancing all this stuff? That's pretty cool. That's pretty amazing. I'm able to, even with the stresses and the things falling through the cracks, I'm able to speak to somebody and have a smile on my face. And that is with it enough. That's functional enough. Thank you for watching, and I am so excited to have you along for this journey with the Thriving Working Mom. Make sure to check out thethrivingworkingmom.com so that you can see how you can get involved and follow along and gain in all the ways that we post on social media. Take care.